In the early 60s, 1660s that is, the Château de Ravignan was built in the small town of Perquis, in the corner of what is unofficially known as the Grand Bas Armagnac. In 1732, vineyards were planted surrounding the chateau. Today, the estate is managed by Jean-Henri d'Orgland and his wife, Christine. The chai, the term for an above-ground barrel room, holds nearly 300 barrels. The area is cool and well ventilated, which helps the aggressive alcohol to evaporate in their spirits. Their wine is distilled by a traveling alembic in November following the harvest. Wood for their barrels comes from both trees grown on the property and the Limousin forest. 10 to 15 new barrels are made each year after being air-dried for 5 full years. Such quantities of oak ensure good color and tannin dosage. And everything is done by hand, as here we see the d'Orglands bottling some bottles for the United States.
Voilà. Une bouteille remplie. Dans la l'Armagnac à son départ, il est blanc comme ça, sorti d'alambic. Et l'évolution progressive donne...
Ravignan holds tremendous respect within the Armagnac region. The distillation at a low degree ensures lots of fruit. New oak gives wonderful structure, and long aging ensures a natural concentration of flavors.
Hey man, I just bought myself a new car. Yeah, that's right. Yeah man, it's a Cadillac man. Yeah, big fins, 61. I think you'll like it man. You want me to tell you about it a little bit? Well, okay, I'll do that then. Huge mama, big fins, 61. Cadillac ball, and head ball, back up and down.
Château de Briat has a long and impressive history. Built in 1540, it first served as the hunting manor for Queen Jeanne d'Albret. Her son, Henry de Navarre, later Henry IV, King of France, often stayed in the castle, but in 1587 gave it to one of his fellow officers as a reward for saving his life in battle. After changing ownership several times, the chateau was purchased in 1864 by Baron Raoul de Pichon-Longueville. The Pichon-Longueville family, who already owned the famous chateau of the same name in Pauillac, used the estate as a country retreat while continuing the chateau's tradition of distilling a percentage of the harvest every year and stocking armagnac. Even after the Château de Pichon-Longueville property in Bordeaux was sold to outside investors, the Château de Briat was retained by Gilles de Luz, one of Pichon-Longueville's maternal ancestors. In 2003, tragedy struck when Gilles de Luz died in an automobile accident. He was only 53 years old. The fatal crash took place in the early hours of morning just south of Paris, as de Luz was returning home from an independent producer's salon in Lyon. De Luz's wife, Adeline, was also pronounced dead at the scene. The de Luz's son, Stéphane, suddenly found himself as the head of the historic chateau. He soon enlisted the help of his cousin, Jean de Marais. The two continued the production techniques established by Gilles from the 7 hectares of vines divided between Bacco, Fol Blanche, and Colombar. Unlike many other Armagnac producers, the yields at Briat are low, and Colombar is a particular favorite. Each varietal is distilled separately to 52%, and all of the 10 barrels aged at the property during any given year see new wood. After 2 or 3 years, they are transferred to older casks and, apart from an airing once a year, are left to rest in the spacious yet primitive chai. Topping up is not practiced. At Briat, they prefer to promote air contact and create a less aggressive spirit. With the glass in hand, the Armagnacs of Briat epitomize the magical wonders that one can find floating in a glass of Gascon spirit, with plenty of nose, rich body, and excellent length. With 445 acres planted, the Barrault family has some of the largest vineyard holdings in the Côte de Gascogne region of southwestern France. Located at the Pellehaut, or high point of a hill overlooking the quaint village of Montréal-du-Gers, this is the central region of Armagnac, called the Ténarèze. It's the soil that differentiates the Ténarèze from the Bas Armagnac, and its higher limestone content gives the final distillates a bit more structure and aging potential than the Bas Armagnac. When Pellehaut's Armagnacs were introduced to the United States, a reserve bottling was chosen, a mixture of many of the domain's lot ends from the mid-70s. However, in the Armagnac world, when a barrel is empty, it's time to move on. In 2006, Matthew Barrault from Château de Pellehaut, an Armagnac man, put together a new reserve blend. Made with 50% Fol Blanche and 50% Ugni Blanc, it's aged in a variety of oak casks. It's between 9 and 15 years old, and it's really a wonderful introduction to the world of Armagnac. With creamy orange notes and delicate toffee notes oozing from the spirit, it really is delicious.